Okay, welcome to Scoop on the Gloop. Samantha's been doing her trusty job of being out on the scoop for the Gloop. What have you got up for us today, Samantha?
So, following our last couple of episodes where we were talking about hyaluronic acid and other things people might want to look for instead to provide hydration, I thought we could chat about the Inkey list's polyglutamic acid because, as we know, it doesn't come up very much because everything is about hyaluronic acid, but the Inkey list have made a point of broadcasting it. It's in the name of one of their products, and upon giving it a little Google, it's said that it is a certain amount times more hydrating than hyaluronic acid. So I thought we could talk about whether that is true, and then and start there and find out a bit more about it.
Okay, so as you say, I do love literal names. The Inkey list polyglutamic acid serum. Can't beat that for a straightforward description of what it is. It does what it says on the tin. Polyglutamic acid is a polymer of glutamic acid, which is an amino acid, and proteins are polymers of amino acids. So that's something that's a fairly natural proposition. Rarely are proteins purely one amino acid. So that makes polyglutamic acid a little unusual in the chemical sense. I believe it does occur naturally in the form of polyglutamic acid. It hasn't been created specially for the application, and it does occur in some foods. So I'm guessing your body is going to be fairly happy with it as a peptide. It's allegedly holds 5 times the moisture of hyaluronic acid. So that sounds good. However, of course, that's a fairly meaningless statistic, really, because what you want is something which holds the moisture that your skin needs. So having 5 times the amount of something else doesn't really get you very far. And I wouldn't necessarily say that the ability to hold moisture is what makes a good moisturizing agent. Hyaluronic acid works pretty well, but there's a bit more to it than that. You'll know that in our lab we've done a lot of work on optimizing hyaluronic acid, and what we've found is that there's a great advantage to having more than one chain length of hyaluronic acid, and using it in combination with another humectant such as glycerin. And the way we think that works is that the different molecules get through the skin at different rates. So if you're applying different size molecules, they'll go through and be in different places at any one time. So you get more humectancy cover by having more than one humectant. So on that basis, polyglutamic acid is quite a large molecule, and it's going to behave differently to hyaluronic acid. And it seems to me that the opportunity here for the cosmetic scientist is to use it in combination with other humectants. So I think that rather than doing what the Inkey list have done and coming out with a pure polyglutamic acid proposition, I'd be more inclined to say, well, let's see if adding it to our existing fairly optimized hyaluronic acid setup that we developed adds a bit more moisturizing still further. That seems to me a more likely event. Now, obviously, we haven't done any work on polyglutamic acid yet, though thanks to you bringing this up, maybe we will do. So I'm quite interested, but equally, I'm not massively excited. I don't think this is going to be a breakthrough in humectancy. I don't think we're going to be able to create greater moisturizers using polyglutamic acid than we've ever been able to do before.
So would you say it's no better or worse then than hyaluronic acid? It's not that hyaluronic acid is better instead of, it's just the answer is, as you said, to always try and have more than one humectant in your product, whether it's hyaluronic or polyglutamic.
I think so, and if it reaches the parts other humectants can't reach, then it's going to help. Because your skin is quite a complicated organ, and everybody's skin is different. And what's happening when you put a humectant on is it's seeping into the skin, and it's going to stay there for a period of time, and hopefully hold some moisture in.
So I take it in the rest of the Inkey list for that product, there is no other humectant. I guess
no, they've combined it with butylene glycol and glycerin, and I think that's and there's a bit of propanediol in there as well. So there's more than one humectant. So they're using a combination of humectants as well.
So given what you've said a minute ago, then in your eyes, that's a good thing. That's making it a better product than if they hadn't added those other humectants in.
I would be very surprised if something like polyglutamic acid would work if there was nothing else in there apart from glutamic acid to give you humectancy. I think you need a combination of them, and basically everybody uses glycerin already, and then adds something to it. So even the simplest moisturizer on the market is already got more than one moisturizer in it, and whether people have thought that out theoretically, or that's just what they find when they're formulating, I wouldn't like to say.
But it sounds like this thing of 5 times more hydration doesn't really give you anything more.
That's right. Basically, what you're looking for is a good formulation that's been skillfully put together by somebody who's got an idea of what they're doing. It's the same as if you buy a pie, you want a pie made by somebody who can make a good pie, not necessarily the one who's used the most pastry.
Interesting. Yeah, so I'll keep an eye out for these other marketing claims and other ingredients, and we can sort of go through the truth of them, can't we?
Yes, that would be good.
Okay, right. So on to the next week then.
Okay, thanks a lot. And,
Bye.
And thanks for watching, everybody at home.